for joining us for Alex Caruso's media availability. Just a reminder, since Alex doesn't know any of you yet, if you could please introduce yourself and your affiliation before you ask the question, and then try to just keep it to one so we have time to get to everybody before doing the follow-ups. That would be great. We will start off with Casey Johnson.
Hey, Alex, I'm Casey Johnson. I work with NBC Sports Chicago. Look forward to working with you. I'm just curious, really, kind of what stood out to you about the Bulls in the free agency process and why you chose to sign here.
Yeah, the Bulls were always, one of the teams that my agent said had some sort of interest. I honestly didn't understand that there was still room for me to be here after the Lonzo deal was announced. And it was shortly after that my agent kind of explained, they were still interested, maybe even more so now. Just trying to, add to the guard depth of the team. And I talked to Billy and AK on the phone, and, the dominoes fell how they did, and it seemed like a good situation for me.
Thank you.
Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, this is Mike McGraw from the Daily Herald. What is your relationship like with Lonzo? Were you guys pretty tight when you were teammates in LA?
Yeah, we're friends. We didn't have a lot of time, to spend together and build, off the court chemistry, just because when he was here, I was on the two-way contract. So most of the time when I got called up is because either he was hurt or Rondo was hurt. And a lot of times he was back rehabbing. So, a little bit of time together in summer league, and then obviously, being around him for the time he was here. But, we have a solid base, a good chemistry, good connection. And I'm looking forward to, pushing that to new heights when I get to Chicago with him.
Darnell.
Hey, Alex, Darnell Mayberry with The Athletic. You often get described as a tough player. What is toughness to you, and how would you describe yourself in that sense?
Toughness to me, I think is just doing the right thing every time. Whether that's, whatever your job is on any given play for basketball, that's kind of where I'm taking this question is, just doing whatever your job is on each individual play. And a lot of times for me, last couple of years, it's been, guarding really good players. And a lot of times you got to play physical, play a little dirty to try to slow guys down, because this league is, full of killers, full of guys that are really, really good offensive players. So, describing myself with toughness, I think it's just a lot of resilience. I have a naive mindset to where I just believe that I'm always going to get the job done. And that's kind of carried me to, whether that's correct or not, I lose a lot of times, and failure is part of the process, but, that mindset's kind of helped me get to where I am today.
Where'd you get that from?
I'm not sure if I can point out one thing here or there. I just watched a lot of basketball growing up, and that's just something I gravitated towards.
Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
Jamal.
Hey, Alex. I'm Jamal Collier from the Chicago Tribune. Welcome to Chicago. I know you're not there officially yet, but you were part of some good defenses in the last couple of years in LA, and obviously it was kind of a key for y'all having that championship. I'm just kind of curious about what things from there do you think you can bring to the Bulls defensively, and just kind of what do you think about the sort of defensive potential or defensive, you guys' defensive potential is kind of going forward with this team?
Yeah, I was fortunate to play alongside some really good players in LA. Anthony Davis, arguably defensive player of the year a couple of years ago. LeBron could be on a defensive team every year if he really wants to. And then a handful of other guys, and then, a great system with the coaching staff. So for me, it was pretty easy. It goes back to that toughness thing, just doing your job every time, playing hard night in, night out, which is, somewhat of a skill in the NBA because it is such a marathon of a season. And then, moving forward to Chicago, kind of doing the same thing. I don't know exactly what our system and our schemes will be just yet, but I'm sure that Billy and the coaching staff will put together a great scheme, and we got athletic guards, young athletic guards that I'm sure are going to try and play in transition as much as possible. And if we can get stops and get out on the break, it's gonna help us a lot.
Rob.
Hey, Alex, Rob Schaefer with NBC Sports Chicago. It's good to meet you. Off the defense point as well, an area that this team struggled last year and that Billy talked to us a lot about was defending on the perimeter at the point of attack, at the point of the screen, in pick and roll coverage. That's an area that you've excelled in your NBA career. And I'm just curious for you, like what goes into being a good or elite point of attack defender, and how do you think that talent of yours can help the Bulls, whatever scheme you guys end up in?
Yeah, I mean, I think, care factor is a big part of it. That's like goes back to that same toughness question, carrying every possession, having that mindset of, wanting to get a stop, having a pride that you don't want your guy to score and that you're trying to win games. That's kind of where it starts. And then I forget, the second part of your question, if you could repeat it.
Just how that skill set or talent of yours defending at the point of attack can help the Bulls, kind of regardless of what schemes you guys end up playing.
Got you. Yeah. That's something that I think I can provide day in, day out, game in, game out. That's something that you can control, is your effort and your energy in playing defense. And, for me, that's always been a catalyst for my game, whether it's been getting a run through steal and getting a dunk on the other end, or taking a charge, or, getting a deflection and it provides energy to the team, provides energy for the game, and usually is positive.
Thank you.
Cody.
Hey, Alex, this is Cody Westerlund from 670, The Score. I was just curious, you said you didn't know if you had room for you kind of after the Bulls signed Lonzo there. So with that in mind, like, do you see some 3-guard lineups getting played quite a bit? Have you talked to the front office or Billy about that, or just kind of how would you see 3-guard lineups playing out? Is that something you guys could do quite a bit when needed?
Yeah, I'm sure given the circumstances, depending on matchups and depending on other teams. I mean, the league itself has just gone to such a small ball mentality that a lot of teams don't play true centers. And a lot of times you need 3 or maybe even 4 guards out there, depending on, how big your guards are. So I'm sure that at some point in the season, they'll test it out. And like I said, we got plenty of young and veterans, plenty of talent on the team, from guys that were here last year like Kobe and Zach, and now you got me, DeMar, Zoe, and then a couple others that are on the roster as well. That's something that I think in this league you can't have enough of, is guard talent. So for me, I'm sure that at some point you'll see a bunch of guards out there.
Let's go with Sam Smith.
Sam Smith with Bulls.com. Can't tell if you're wearing a headband or not, but I wanted to ask you about, maybe surprise is not the right word, but pleased that given your journey, I don't even think you averaged in double figures in college, that you could end up with a, long-term kind of guaranteed contract in the position you've been in. Could you describe or talk about, what got you here, your journey going through undrafted, being released, summer league, cut, two-way, it's a long way back from here to there to here.
Yeah, a big part of that, I think the last time I averaged double figures in a season outside of my G League career was my junior year of college. And, ever since then, I've really it's just kind of the player I am. It's just sacrificing for the team. There's guys that get a bunch of shots up, and if I wanted to average double figures, I could. I could take a handful of shots a game, and percentages would probably drop a little, probably wouldn't win as many games. But for me, it's always just been about winning. That's kind of just, it's been my mentality, and it's always worked for me. So I kind of just stuck with it. Pouring into other people and pouring into the team usually, reaps rewards for the teams and yourself individually. So for me, that's always just been, kind of my focus. I've been really present, like you said, at each level I've been in, whether it's been, summer league, not making a team, training camp with OKC, and then playing the full year, getting cut from training camp, going a full year in the G League, to two-way, to earning a contract, winning a championship, earning a long-term deal, like you said. Just perseverance, man. I love basketball. I love winning. I love being part of a team. I love all that stuff. So for me, it's pretty easy to wake up every day and work hard and enjoy what I'm doing.
I just wanted to add, is that a sense of pride for you to have come this far?
Yeah, definitely. But I have pride before I signed a multi-year deal for a bunch of millions of dollars. I had pride every time I step on the court, whether I'm playing pickup, whether I'm in, one-on-one drills in training camp. That's just who I am. I compete. I love to compete. It just makes the game more fun, when you win.
Eugene, go ahead.
Hey, Alex, this is Eugene McIntosh from the Biggs Media. I just wanted to get your interpretation of Talen Horton-Tucker, our local guy, and what type of player do you think he'll be in the future?
Yeah, Taylor is one of my good friends from that team. Although everybody on that team was really close. He was just a sponge, for that first year. He didn't play a lot, and he just worked and worked and worked on his game. He's so naturally talented. I think he was the youngest player in the league his first year. And then last year he finally got, we got some playing time for him because of some injuries and in certain situations. And, he's got that Chicago mentality of, kill anybody that's in front of him on the court. And, that's just what he does. He gets buckets, religiously. He doesn't have to try. He has an effortless offensive game. His work ethic is phenomenal for how young he is. And then defensively, I think once, he started to last year. He really can lock people up when he wants to, and when he puts his focus to it. The sky's the limit for him. A guy with that much natural talent, that much natural ability, and then the work ethic that he has. That's the recipe for success.
Appreciate it.
All right, looks like we've got a handful of second round of questions, so we'll get through those and wrap it up. Mike, go again.
Yeah, Alex, question about your background. Did you live in College Station your whole life, or did you guys move and come back? I know your dad has A&M ties, right?
Yeah, my mom and dad both worked at A&M. Mom, long time in human resources, dad in the athletic department, associate athletic director for 20 plus years. No, I grew up, up until I left for Oklahoma City that first year out of college. I lived in College Station for 21 and a half years.
All right, Casey.
Hey, Alex, this obviously can't be your total focus now that you're here with the Bulls, but there was quite a bit of squawking from Lakerland amongst the Laker faithful, at least that I saw, that they didn't make more of an effort to keep you. Did you pay attention to that stuff? Were you surprised that didn't work out there? And secondly, what was it like kind of being a favorite of LeBron's?
Yeah, I have a great relationship with, the Laker community, just because of, kind of what we talked about, my path and my progression as a player is something that they got to witness firsthand. And we kind of did, step by step, hand in hand. So I'll always have a special relationship with that fan base. And I know a lot of people were upset that I didn't get to stick around and try and run it back for a couple more years. As far as, front office and the free agency stuff, that stuff just kind of happens, it's the business of basketball. You can't always keep everybody you want, or else, there'd be a bunch of good teams with a whole bunch of good players and nobody else would win. So that just kind of is part of the business of it. Happy that I fell to Chicago, that the chips fell where they did. And I'm excited for the team that we have and the future that this team, I think, has. As far as playing with LeBron, that's something I'll never take for granted. How easy he makes the game for his teammates. How much fun it is for me. That was one thing I'm going to miss, throwing him lobs. He'd throw it up anywhere and he'll go dunk it. So hopefully me and Zach can get on that same page, and I'll get some to him. But, really grateful for him as a teammate, him as a leader, a friend, mentor, just all the things that I've learned from him. And, obviously can't take that for granted.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one more from Darnell.
Yeah, Alex, I asked you earlier about your toughness. I want to know about your athleticism. Watching you from afar, you've always been athletic, but do you feel like you've become even more explosive as you've progressed throughout your career?
Yeah, I think so. But I think that's normal, right? I think, if you look back, anybody who's somewhat athletic in high school and then you work hard and you start to mature a little, get more athletic in college. And then, it's really just up to, do you want to continue to get better? And I figured out, how my body reacts to certain nutrition and sleep and figuring out what's best for me to improve as as a basketball player, and I'm a learner, so the more exposure I got to quicker guys in the NBA, the more I could push myself to kind of see where my body can do. And, I've been fortunate that it just keeps going, better and better, which hopefully it does that for a handful more years. And I keep some freshness in the legs.
In terms of that specific aspect of your game, what's the one thing you would point to that has really enabled you to take those strides?
I think it's just consistency, working, consistency, trying to recover, trying to make sure that you keep the legs fresh, just because there's so many games, there's so many possessions. And like I said, the last couple of years, I've been guarding some of the better players that are in the backcourt in the NBA. And, those guys don't lack any athleticism. So if you're gonna keep up with them, you gotta push yourself. And I like challenges. So that's always been something that it's been easy for me to kind of push myself.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, that's all the questions for you today, Alex. Thank you for your time today.
Perfect. Nice meeting all y'all. See y'all soon.
Yep.
Take care.